Hi class, I just realized that I made a wrong video for this week's lecture, and we're supposed to do chapter 13, the pricing decisions and cost management, but instantly I just made the video for balance scorecard. I guess I'll just so ready for get rid of this semester and just as probably what do you think of, right? So, but I'm surprised that nobody really pick it up for me on me at least. I mean, are you watching the video or not? I really need some feedback from you. Okay, so if you are working on those new course videos, and here's the thing, based off on the new issues we have, probably it's my mistakes. Here's the thing we're gonna change for this and next week's schedule. Okay, so for this week we are not going to have a case analysis for pricing. Okay, on pricing, and instead of doing that, we just completely cancel that pricing case analysis, which should be done or should be working on starting today. All right, so this is gone. All right, I'm gonna take it out of our schedule. All right, so there's no case for this week. And in terms of homework, I'm saying that we're gonna post that the deadline to next Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday. You still have roughly a week to finish that chapter 13's homework. All right, I'm gonna fix these problems on Blackboard as soon as I finish this video. All right, so always, if you have any questions about the course load or about the schedule or about the thing that we plan on, and we didn't get through something that I want some feedback from you. All right, so don't feel worried or concerning or anything, to not talk to me. All right, so I'm here to help you to survive of this course during this, um, predictable situation, but of course we're still gonna do this together. All right, I need you to be with me. Sure. All right, now let's get started on chapter 13, which is pricing decisions and cost management. All right, so let me move this. Okay, so pricing, chapter 13, pricing decisions and cost management. If you already watched one of the videos that I posted for chapter 12 and chapter 19, and you're starting to realize that now we are working on something that is not really related to, well, it is based off on cost information, but something that is not, really quite a cost analysis per se. So we are moving more toward a managerial decision making process. Well, in terms of management discipline, in terms of marketing discipline, and in terms of supply chain discipline, and all these, combinations of management or business administrative sub discipline category. All right, so here the problem with this, I mean the idea with this is that really everything for any for-profit organizations, those companies really they need to have a full comprehension on their cost information before they can make any decisions, or let's say before they can make any effective or efficient decisions, right? So-called right decisions that to gain competitiveness on the market, to gain profitabilities, and so on and so forth, right? So this is the idea why. This is the point why cost accounting or managerial accounting is kind of like a mini MBA classes that incorporate a little bit everything from different business disciplines. So now let's get started on this chapter. All right. So pricing decisions. So here's our learning objectives, and in this chapter, we're going to talk about several, at least the two different pricing strategies based off on cost informations, and what are we going to do with those strategies. And there are some, set effects, and there are some, lawsuit, regulation requirements, so to speak. Okay, so we're going to talk about all these things together. All right, first of all, when we talk about the pricing, the price of any product, okay, we are thinking about the thing that we learned in economic classes, right? The supply and demand chart, right? If supply go cross go across demand, and the intersect is the point where we set the equilibrium price for a specific services or product, right? So this is basically what we learn in economic classes. But there are some fundamental things that inside of this supply demand chart that affects this chart. I mean the equilibrium, the point, pricing points per se. And these factors are customers, competitors, and costs for sure, right? So let's look at these three things together, all right? So basically, companies cannot price any products or services, come out of nowhere or in a vacuum, okay? They have to take into consideration a lot of factors, and specifically here we're talking about customers, competitors, and their cost of doing the business or offering the services or products. Okay, so customers can influence price through their demand for product and based off on the features of the product or its quality or utility, right? So basically, we have to test or we have to understand what customers' preferences are on the market for a particular type of products or services. Then we are starting to thinking of what products we can offer to satisfy the customer's needs, right? And the second is competitors. So competitors really, when we offer some products or services on the market, there are always going to be plenty of other people's doing similar business, right? We have Walmart, then we have Target, we have Costco, we have Sam's, and all these grocery stores are competing with one another, right? And we have Best Buy, and in California, the West Coast, we have some other electronics device stores, the different name, okay? It's called Fry's or Freyer. I can't remember exactly, but you get the idea, right? So we have a lot of competitors on the market. So then when we make up this price, set up the price, first we need to consider the customer's preferences, and second is the competitors' reactions and the competitors' strategies on the market. So, and that is because, if your competitor is offering a lower price, a very attractive price to the customers, and how come we can offer a rocket high, a sky high price, and they're willing, and I think of that customers will still go in our stores and buy our products, right? It doesn't make sense. So we need to consider what customers preferences are, and we need to consider what competitor strategies, their price level, and all these kind of stuff. And then the next thing that we need to consider is our costs. How much is going to cost us to make one of those products, right? So the general idea here is that it doesn't matter what price you offer to the customers on the market, at least our cost has to be lower than our price, right? So we understand that we have different pricing strategies in terms of marketing displays and in terms of managerial perspective, okay? But the fundamental thing is that it doesn't matter if your charge is to $1.99 or $1 or $2 or $1.50. It doesn't matter as what price you charge, but all these price you charge for the product, it has to be greater than the product cost or the cost of the service. It makes sense. Otherwise, the company is not able to succeed in the market, and it will not last long. That makes sense. Okay, so these are the three factors we need to consider when it comes to pricing decisions. All right. So in terms of pricing decisions, we have two general categories of pricing decisions. One is short-term pricing, and the other one is long-term pricing. So short-term pricing basically are those pricing decisions effect, in the period of no longer than one year. Okay, no longer than 1 year. And examples here are pricing for one-time special orders, and those things we kind of talk about that in managerial accounting when we talk about relevant cost and special orders at or add or drop, or keep or drop, or buy or make, and those kind of decisions. And also we have those, product mix, combination decisions. And also most of these things we already talk about the short-term pricing decisions. It's highly relevant in terms of CVP analysis, cost of volume profit analysis, and there we talk about a sensitive analysis, right? So it's kind of a what if scenario. What if we change our output volume? What if we change our short-term costs of products, right? And what if we change the different combinations in terms of our product bundle, right? Or product mix, right? So all these things will come to affect the short-term profitability. But that is only for short-term decisions, okay? Only for short-term decisions. It will not last for like forever, right? So on the other hand, what we're focusing on is the long-term pricing. So what is the long-term pricing? It is a more stable price that we offer to the market. And the reason why we are considering or we are focusing on long-term pricing is because every type of companies they expecting to be running their business operations on a smooth condition, right? They want smooth business operating cycles. They don't want surprises. So it's true for customers. When it comes to customers need something and go on the market and search for those products, they expecting the price will not change too much, right? So in terms of those pricing decisions, if we are focusing on long-term strategies, then we are able to provide or offer a more stable price to the customers, which will help us to ease the planning process, the budgeting process, because in that way we are able to figure out how many customers probably we're gonna have for this year's or for next 5 years operating cycle, and how much is our the predicted net income, so on and so forth. That makes sense. So those are the idea for long-term pricing, because we don't want to surprise our customers and to scare them away. Let's say we offer a dollar for a bottle of water today, and 2 days later we charge it for $10. It doesn't make sense, and it's so unpredictable, right? So customers will not really tolerate those kind of instabilities. All right. So and the most important thing, of course, for our classes is the cost allocation. And in terms of pricing decisions, then the most important part for us is how do we allocate costs to different products, which stage of business operations the cost from there should be allocated to the products, and which should be not allocated to the product. And these are very critical questions, because if we are not able to accurately to allocate the cost into products, then we are not able to come up with a more accurate pricing decisions. That makes sense. So that cost allocation is very important for in terms of pricing decisions. All right. So in terms of purpose, and there are several four in general purpose for of cost allocations for pricing decisions. Okay. So first is provide information for economic decisions. To decide, examples are to decide on the selling price for product or services, or to decide whether to add new product features. And this mainly is talking about if we're adding more features into the products, or if we are charging the products, and how much should we charge, right? And the second is to motivate managers and other employees, and to encourage the design of products that are simpler to manufacture or less costly to service. And here really we're focusing on value engineering or re-engineering, or something like that, or so to speak, cost analysis. Okay, so this part is talking about really is the cost efficiency in terms of manufacturing. How are we able to reduce the cost and to still meet the product criteria? Okay, And the third is to justify costs or compute reimbursement amounts. And some of these is really to tie back to the second point. And the other is to really to if we are contracting the business with some other clients or government clients, and then how much we can reimburse them and how much we can get reimbursed, okay, based off on the cost. And does that really make sense? Is it rational cost structure and cost portfolio? Okay, and the last one is to measure income and assets. Basically, we have to do cost allocation to prepare financial report for actional reporting purpose, right? And also we have to pay our taxes, and this will help us to calculate more relatively more accurate costs and to calculate more accurately the net income for or income from operations to pay taxes. Okay, so those are the four general purpose to do cost allocations. All right. All right, so then in setting long-term prices, companies can take really two different approaches. First is a market-based approach, and the other one is called a cost-based approach. So let's talk about the market-based approach first. Okay, the market-based approach, it starts with the customer focus. As we said before in prior slides, that we have to understand the customer preferences, their tastes for products or services, and what features they like, what features they don't like, before we can offering any type of products or services, right? So another thing is, well, on the market basis, we're not only focusing on the customers, but also the competitors, right? If we are charging some amounts for price, and what is the competitors reaction, and what is their strategy is gonna to fight back against us, right? So this is some the specific a name for this market-based pricing approach is called a target pricing. Okay, it's called a target pricing. All right, and the other one is cost based approach, which really computes the price based off the cost we allocate or we assign to the specific product or services. Okay, and we mark up a certain percentage based off on the cost and to set a price. So that is quite a kind of easier one than the market-based approach. All right. So now let's look at these two separately. So first is the market-based approach, targeting price. Okay, the target pricing. Okay, target pricing is really start with to target a price. So what is the estimated, or what is the better price we want to charge? Okay, what do we want to charge for our products? And this price is based off on the understanding of the value placed on on a product by the customer, not by ourselves. Okay, by customer, and how competitors will charge similar products on the market. All right, so there are three reasons why we have to understand customers and competitors at all before we can charge, or before we can set a target price. Okay, targeting price, excuse me. Okay, so first is lower cost competitors continually restrain prices. So what he's saying here is that okay, so there are a lot of competitors. Really, they use more advanced technologies, and they have more expertise in terms of R&D process, in terms of logistic chain, in terms of manufacturing process. So they are able to run their business more efficiently than us. Then they are able to then they are able to offer the products with a lower cost. In that case, then there's no point for them to charge a higher price and to keep the customers away from them. And in this case of scenario, then we are not able to charge a higher price than our competitors do. That makes sense? Because for example, if let's say let's say a smart water. Okay, smart water charge like a $2 per bottle, right? $2 per bottle. If we are offering similar products, and we can only charge like in a range probably 150 to up to 250. That makes sense. Otherwise, we cannot really charge like $10 for that, just a bottle of water. That doesn't make sense because there's no significant difference between in terms of particles, materials that inside of our products, between our products and our competitors' products, right? So it really doesn't. If the customers buy $10 of water, does that really give you eternity life or not? Right? So there's not that kind of significant differences in terms of quality, in terms of features. So then, if we're having those competing conditions, then we cannot charge higher price than than our competitors. And the second is products have shorter lives, which leaves companies less time and opportunity to recover from pricing mistakes, loss of market share, and loss of profitability. So think about Apple or Samsung or Google, right? They announce new products every year, not every other year, right? So it's this trend is kind of started like several years ago, like 10 years ago, right? So all these tech companies, they can really announce new products every year. And this competition is so severe that really shorten the product life dramatically, right? So if we are not able to come up with a effective or efficient pricing decisions, then we're probably going to lose this battle in general and lose this battle in its entirety, right? So the third one is customers are more knowledgeable because they have easy access to price and other information online and demand high quality products at low prices. It makes sense, right? So customers always think about you or me myself, right? So when we go on the market to search for some products, we really want to buy products with high quality and pay as minimum as possible, right? We want to save money and to get some products can last longer time than something, right? And another thing is that now really we're talking about information symmetry, that providers have more information than buyers have, but nowadays it's not that really a symmetry in terms of information knowledge, right? So customers can have all these informations from the internet. It's easy for us to get access to the internet and to learn a lot of things that we don't know just like a seconds ago, right? So they can compare all the qualities and features between different products and between and through their trends, and to see what product is more charging more reasonable price and which price is more acceptable, right? So all these kind of things. So because of these three different factors, and we have to take seriously about take our customers and our competitors more seriously than even before. Okay, so starting with a target price, which is estimate price for a product or service that potential customers are willing to pay, right? And here is the thing, that target price is not a price set in stone that you're gonna go ahead to charge on the market and then offer on Amazon, and customers just click and put in their card and proceed to check out and pay, swipe their card to pay. Right? It is not that the actual price we're going to charge to our customers. It's just the estimated price, and this estimate price again is it's kind of an understanding based upon the understanding of customers' preferences and how our competitors' strategies are and their reactions will be, and then based off on these things. And one of the things is that when we set this target price, this targeting price, really, and in general, our targeting price is always going to be lower and lower and lower than the actual price we charge. And some some people may think that it's not, it doesn't make sense, and but you think that twice, okay? You think that twice because we really want to make some conservative strategies before we can execute it out, just in case some bad things or bad conditions, bad factors coming in, and we still have something to prepare, or we have something to tail back our profitability. Does that make sense? Okay, so um, here we are going to charge that, a lower, I mean, we're going to estimate a lower price than eventually we're going to charge on the market. And another thing about this competitors is really, it's not things like, just Google online and about your customers or competitors benefits or costs information, and some of these things are not able to obtain from just a public internet resource, and this really relies on our salespersons or marketing persons, those teams to help us to gather this information, because sales really, they know, they have more information, or they are more knowledgeable about different competitors, different products from our competitors, uh, right? And the other thing is that really we want to have, well, as much information about competitors' cost as possible. However, it's not really realistic to get all this information. But based off on some, industry benchmark, industry analysis, we're still able to get those, at least some of those information. All right. So then competitor analysis is not really something that you can do just by yourself and just sitting in front of your computer and spend like a day or two just to come up with some analysis report. It is not something like that. It takes a coordination between among different departments. Okay, for example, let's say we just talked about that marketing department and sales department and even customer service department, right? So we can have a sense from customers' preference in terms of a brand companies, and to get a trend or to get an estimate of the competitor strategy or something like that. Okay. All right, so marketing-based approach, and there are four steps in developing targeting price and target costs. Okay, so and here's the thing that first of all, before we can set a price for any specific product or services, the first thing ever is we're gonna have one, right? We're gonna have one product, or we're gonna have one service that we are able to provide to our customers. Otherwise, there's no such thing that we can set a price on, right? So we have to have a product, we have to develop a product or service that can satisfy the needs of our potential customers, okay, potential customers. And then we choose a target price, okay. What is price? What is the estimate or optimal price we're going to charge for that products? And then we're going to do something like analysis to break it down by per unit, okay, derive a target cost per unit, okay, and then to get profitability per unit. And then the next step is, or the last step is, to perform value engineering to achieve target cost. Okay, so what does that mean is that when we have a price targeting price, excuse me, for our products, and then we're going to work backward, and to see how much we can actually spend on making one of those products. Okay, so based off on the target price we can charge, and then we go back to see how much cost we can put on this product to put this together. Okay, if anything that go off the range in terms of cost, we cannot produce that. We cannot produce that because we will not, cover our cost by charging the estimate price, or we cannot charging a higher price than we're supposed to. Okay, because we have customers' preferences and competitors on the market, which really affect our pricing strategies, right? So now, because we have this because because we have this target pricing and we need to, oops, we need to do this value engineering. And the next step in target pricing is to really analyze our cost. To analyze our cost, are we able to provide products that are within our cost control or not? Okay, so next is the value engineering process. Okay, the value engineering. So value engineering, it is a systematic valuation of all aspects of the value chain. Okay, it is the value chain, and with the objective of reducing costs and achieving a quality level that satisfies customers. So you see this chart here, this picture here. Basically, these are the value chain, right? This is the value chain. Okay, we have R&D, product design, production, marketing, and distribution, and customer services. All these are value chain. And why it's called value chain? Because each one of these process, each one of these steps are going to provide value, going to add value into our products or services, which potentially customers will buy. Okay, will buy. All right. So value engineering, it entails improvements in product design and changes in the materials, specifications, and modifications in process methods. Okay, so always value engineering, it looks for better ways to accomplish one single objective. How are we able to provide a high quality products that satisfy customers' needs, and at the same time we can maintain the costs. Okay, we can contain the cost. Okay, so this may be done through reduction in parts. For example, I know that one of the Japanese automobile manufacturer, probably is Toyota or Honda. Okay, one of these two manufacturers that really they replaced that hood, the hood on the car, replace the metal materials by the plastic materials. Okay, they kind of use some high tech plastic materials to replace that metal materials because they cost less, and also they can provide keep the materials quality. Okay, to keep the quality of the products. Okay, and so value engineering, and when we do value engineering or cost analysis in terms of market-based pricing, and here are two different things we need to understand. That is, what are value-added costs and what are non-value added costs. Okay, so value-added cost is a cost that if we eliminate that cost, that would reduce the actual or perceived value or utility, which really is the usefulness customers experience from using the product or service. Okay, so that means we are looking from customers' perspective whether this feature of this product is valuable or not. In other ways, saying this, are our customers are willing to pay for this specific feature. Okay, so if our customers are willing to pay for this specific feature and or type of services, and then this the cost, the cost put into adding this piece of of features, then that is value added cost. Otherwise, if customers are not willing to pay for this specific thing, any cost put on this thing will be non-value added cost. All right, so here value added cost or non-value added cost, we are thinking of from the customer perspective. Okay, not from ourselves perspective. Okay, not ourselves perspective. All right. Okay, so why that matters? Because when we invent products or we are doing R&D on some new products, then there are a lot of costs it will incur, and also in terms of costs, we are not only have those incurred costs, but also we're gonna have something, here's new term, the locked in costs. Okay, the locked in cost in value engineering or in the value chain. Okay, in the value chain. Okay, so what are the difference between incurred costs and locked in costs. And also there something that I want to understand that are different costs, the term of costs. That's sunk cost. Okay, sunk cost. Especially, I want you to know the difference between sunk cost and locked in costs. Okay, so cost incurrence. First, cost incurrence is describes when a resource is consumed or benefit foregone to meet a specific objective. Okay, so for example, if we're making products and the materials we put in, the labor that we spend hours on assembling those products, the salaries we pay, all these costs will be incurred costs, right? Those costs will be paid and will be purchased and paid to suppliers to purchase materials and so to speak. Those things will incur. And the locked-in costs is another way of saying this is also known as design-in costs, are costs that have not yet been incurred, so but will be incurred in the future based on decisions that have already been made. And that are decisions that have already been made. Okay, so here is the significant difference, the apparent difference between sunk cost and locked-in cost. Locked-in cost, we are looking forward. Okay, the cost will incur in the future, and the sunk cost is really the cost already incurred, and this cost cannot be changed, right? Cannot be changed. And someone probably asked me, so can locked-in costs changed? Can logging costs change? Yes, it can change. Okay, it can change. Why? Because logging cost is a future cost that will incur in the future, but not now, right? So this kind of a cost we planned in terms of manufacturing process, in terms of distribution channel, in terms of logistic chains, or in terms of customer services, so to speak. Okay, all these things. So this not happening yet. So we are able to change that. And why locked-in cost is so important in terms of value engineering? Because locked-in cost it take up a huge amount of costs, okay, in terms of product inventation or product innovation and or re-innovation or manufacturing in the future. Why? Because really locked-in costs first will lock in the R&D process. Okay, most of the huge amount of or tremendous amount of lock-in cost will incur in the R&D process. Okay, in the R&D process. And once this project started, and there's no way we can really reduce those lock-in costs. So probably let me give you an example what is lock-in cost and what is not lock-in cost. Okay, so for example, if you are planning for your summer vacation now and you think that you're self quarantined for so long time, then you finally you're released and then you are able to go anywhere else, anywhere you want to go. Then you're starting to planning your summer vacations and you're looking online and you probably find out that okay, Miami is best place for you to go during the summer. All right, then you're starting to look at air ticket plan. Excuse me. You're starting to look at air tickets, okay, and it's cost you like $100 because of this low demand in term currently, okay. It probably cost you $100 for the ticket, okay, airline ticket. Then you processed it and you have to pay for tickets immediately, right? So once you purchase the tickets, the $100 is gone, it's out of your pocket, and this is the cost already incurred, right? This is the cost already incurred. And also this is a sunk cost. This is a sunk cost. It will not change in the future, no matter if you go to that vacation, you go on that vacation or not, right? And what are locked-in costs in terms of your vacation planning? That is, you go to Miami during the summer, and you don't want to really take the public transportations, and you don't want to waste your time there. Probably gonna stay there just for 1 or 2 days, right? You don't want to really waste your time. So you're starting thinking about you renting a car, right? Renting a car. So you look at those, rental car rental services like Hertz or Enterprise, right? And you're starting to look at different types of model of cars you want to drive over there. Okay, probably a Mercedes Benz or uh, uh, Audi, right? So whatever. But now you look at, okay, you lock the one, you find one car, okay, you find one car and you reserve that car, okay. So that means that by the time you arrived in Miami and you go to the rental car services, and they're gonna save this car for you. However, you are not paying for that car now yet, right? You are not paying for that car yet. So this cost for your car rental, then that is a locked-in cost for your summer vacation. Okay, so because it is not incurred yet, but as long as you are going to take this vacation, it will incur in the future. So this is a lock-in cost. All right, lock-in cost. And another example is that, for example, I have this iPhone, right? iPhone. And you see this iPhone, and before they can actually make this iPhone, they have to do product design, right? They have this iPhone 7, I guess. Okay, they have this camera here, and they have this camera here, and they have this screen. Okay, whatever the glasses they use for on the screen, for the screen. Okay, so all these things cost money, right? All these things cost money. Okay, you want to have one camera here on the back of this cell phone. You in the future, once you starting the manufacturing process, you're gonna put one of these camera into each one of these phones, right? So the cost of that will be your locked-in cost at your designing process, at the designing or research and development process. Okay, and you cannot put two cameras in here, right? So for different model, probably gonna put three or two cameras in there, but for this specific model, it's just one, right? And you use one specific type of glasses on this phone, and later on you're gonna literally put this screen on this phone, and then how much whatever the amount that cost for this screen, that will be a locked-in cost at the R&D process or at the product design process. But one is getting to the real manufacturing process, and it becomes incurred costs. Okay, it will become incurred costs. All right. So because of these different terms, and because of locked-in cost really is something that we design up front, and then we kind of like a plan, and then we're going to follow along this plan and in the future. So that is a very critical part, and also is a very important part. And also that is a huge amount of cost will take place in the R&D design process. And you see next chart here that if you look at the locked-in cost curve here, and in comparison to the cost incurrence curve here, you've seen a huge difference between these costs, different two costs. Okay, and why is that? Because a lot of costs will be locked in during R&D process. What products, what features you're gonna put in this products, and how much it cost, and are you gonna use 4 screws in this products, or gonna use 1 screws in this product, and are you gonna put 4 tires, 4-wheel tires on your car, or you're going to put 3 tires on your car. Okay, and what are you going to use for your spare car? Okay, I mean spare tire. Okay, or what kind of radio system you're going to put in your car, right? So all these things are done in the R&D process. And when it's come to the manufacturing process, you realize that it things a little bit things is dramatically changed, which uh, is that we have a little locked-in cost during the manufacturing process, but we're gonna have a lot of cost incurred during the manufacturing process. The reason is that during this process, we're not going to do a lot of changes in terms of product features, product materials used, okay, but we're gonna actually put all these materials and features into one of those products, which really drives cost incur, right? So those are the two different things, right? Okay, so value engineering, cost incurrence, locked in. Another one. This is a summary. So first, in the value engineering process, we have to understand customer requirements, so their preferences, and what are value added costs and what are non-value added costs in terms of customers' preference. And we're trying to have more value added costs and less non-value added costs because customers will not pay for those, non-valuable or non-useful features or things. Okay, and second, anticipating how costs are locked in before they are incurred, because once you start up this process, the manufacturing process, there's not a lot of things you can change. Okay, and the third is using cross-functional teams to redesign products and the process to reduce costs while meeting customer designs. And here is also going to take the cooperation and coordination among different types of departments. Your customer services department, your marketing department, your sales department, and also your department from supply chain and from partner relationship, all these different departments, because each one of them know a little bit different things, right? You want to gather all these informations together to see how you are able to come up with something that is efficient. Okay. All right. So then, what is the side effects? Okay. So what are some undesirable effects for value engineering and target costing? First, employees may feel frustrated if they fail to attain targets. So sometimes it is not really well. Actually, it's a lot of time. This process is not just something that you can done in a click. Okay, something can done in a click. It's just like doing a research project. You have your you come up with your research questions, something that are really interested you, and you want to find solutions for that question, and you're starting to look at some literatures, and then you find some probably theorists can explain that process or explain that things happening. Okay, so and this is not really an easy thing, because before you can come up with some solutions, you have to search for tons of materials and process tons of materials, informations, before you can actually have some functional or rational solutions, right? So a lot of time that employees will be get frustrated because they are not able to get something that they think they can get. Okay, so now the problem that is one of the problem. If the employees are demotivated, then there's potentially they will not really put in more effort or maintain the similar effort level in the future working stage, right? And the second is the cross-functional team may add too many features just to accommodate the different wishes of team members. So, for example, if I'm the team leader that I said I'm going to invent a breakthrough new phone, okay, and that will have so many different features that surprise customers and also to satisfy their needs in the future. And then I want some information from each one of you, okay? So, and you from probably a sales department and from a customer service department and from a logistics chain department and different departments, okay? And you really are so committed into this process, and you're so committed into the company's success, and you provide every single piece of information available to you to me, okay? And I have so big size of information database that I need to process, that I need to understand. But however, as human beings, we have limited limited cognitive ability, which means our cognitive ability has a boundary. Okay, it has a boundary. We cannot really go beyond our boundaries. All right, we cannot go beyond our boundaries. We have limited time. We have limited abilities. We can only process a limited amount of information, right? If we have so many different pieces of information, probably we're gonna be, lost in this, sea of information, okay, the ocean of information. All right. So the third one is product may be in development for a long time as the team repeatedly evaluate alternative design. So now let's think about the example is that okay, you really want to you are so committed into this new products. You want to make a perfect product to everyone on this globe, and then you spend so much time in the R&D and the product design process. However, time is one of the most important resource, right? And the timing is very critical. All right. So it not only depends on the features that you have put into this product, but also it depends on how efficient, how quickly you can push this product on the market. Okay. If some competitors come up with some similar products and they announce these products earlier or sooner than you to the customers, and they have more market shares. They already take the advantage of market of customers over you, right? So you're gonna lose a lot of opportunities by holding your project for so long time. Okay, so one of the things or one of the examples I can give you in terms of this specific point is Bill Gates. Okay, Bill Gates Windows. Okay, the Windows operating system. Okay, the Windows operating system. I think it was the first came out in the 80s. Okay, 1980s. And by the time it's done, the product is done, and it is not a really sophisticated or fully developed product, and there are a lot of downsides and drawbacks and in the Windows operating systems. However, Bill Gates, he didn't hold it off until he has a perfect operating system and then to offer it to the market. Instead, he just work on the improvements and in the progress. Okay, after he provided products to the market. Okay, and similar things you see every day, that your iPhone, your cell phone, your laptop, not only the operating system but the different brands of laptop, you are constantly going to have some updates, right? And those are saying that it is not a perfect product you are having right now, but we are fixing that. We are aware of that problems, issues. Now we are providing some strategy and solutions to fix those potential problems you're going to have in the future, or the problems you already have. Okay, so they don't want to hold off these products for so long time and then to lose the competitive advantage positions in the market. Okay, and the fourth one is organizational conflicts may develop as the burden of cutting costs falls on equally on different business functions in the company's value chain. Okay, so probably you need to cut so much cost in one department in the value chain process over the other, and sometimes it really doesn't make sense because not everybody understand what is going on in the other fully understand what is going on in the other department, right? So now let's say I'm an accounting guy, right? I know exactly what is the routine job and how much is how long it takes to process one invoice or one in reimbursement or something like that, or how long it takes me to process the financial statements every month, okay, so to speak. And I don't really know how those things work in sales department or marketing department, right? So and we all think that our department is so critical in terms of business operations. We always want to have sufficient amount of resource, specifically money, to run this department, to offer some effective or efficient. I mean, I'm repeating these two different terms so many times, but it's really the point of doing business. Okay, and to run them more efficiently, right? So by cutting so much cost in our department, we know which function will not be really functional, right? Which part of our jobs will not be functional, and how that will dramatically affect our business operations. So that'll make different departments people unhappy, right? So this, how do we balance the cost cutting process and how make those things seemingly fair and also do not jeopardize our business efficiency? That is a very critical part of solving this value engineering uh, problems. Okay, so now because we have all these set effects, how do we just avoid these undesirable effects? Okay, how do we turn undesirable effects into desirable effects? So to avoid these set effects, first we can encourage employees participation and celebrate small improvements toward achieving the target cost. Okay, it doesn't have to be celebrated at the end. We can take progress. Okay, we finish the small goals, and we achieve the small goals, we celebrate for that. Okay, and if we don't achieve to the ultimate goal in terms of cost cutting, and it's not a big deal, but we tried. Okay, we tried. And then the second is focus on customer. Okay, again, really we need those, so we need so many different type of informations, but at the end of the day it has to be customer oriented. If customer doesn't think that is valuable, ignore that information. Okay, ignore that information, because customer is not going to buy that. It's not going to buy that. All right, so for example, some companies now, a lot of companies now is doing online sales. They do online marketing, and then hopefully that convert into online sales, right? There's a conversion percentage. Okay, they're looking at. Okay, and then when it's come to online sales, customers buying stuff from their websites, and they click on the products and they put in the cart and then proceed to the checkout process, and it's only charge $1.99. All right, before we can see anything else, the taxes or shipping. Okay, and some companies offer free shipping if you purchase over a certain amount of price, right? And some of them just have to pay shipping separately. All right, so in terms of this example, if you're seeing that you're gonna pay 199 for this product, and then you go ahead, you proceed to the checkout stage, and you see it's gonna cost you $10 for shipping. Are you going to buy that product? Probably not. Okay, it just happened to me. Okay, because one of my cats he's in a bad condition, and he's has some runny nose, right? Well, for cats have a runny nose is not really quite common, but I'm looking, now it's past smart, all these veterinary hospitals is really not really opening operational now, and I cannot really get those things online because Amazon now is holding off those non-essential orders, and to ship out those essential orders first. Okay, so it's probably gonna take me a month to get that product. Okay, so I look for another website, and they do have that product, and it cost me like $10, but the shipping cost is $30. The shipping cost is $30. I'm not going to pay that $30. Well, I'm able to pay that $30, but I'm not willing to pay because apparently it's not worth that. Okay, it's not worth that. So similar thing, if you're offering some premium shipping services, it's probably going to take you a minute to ship, to get your products delivered to customer's door, and it costs $1 million. Okay, customers doesn't think that it will be available. Okay, it's not useful because they're not in that urgent situations. Okay, so probably gonna think of to reinvent some or reevaluate your shipping process. Okay, so to speak. And next is pay attention to schedules. Okay, pay attention to schedules. It's just like our personal lives. Okay, you have your target, you have your goals, and you break your general ultimate goals into small goals, and you want to achieve goals by a specific date of time, right? Just stick with your schedules. Don't be late, or don't you can finish those things sooner, but just don't try not be late on your schedules. Okay, don't drag your work long to next year or next 5 years and never get it done. Okay, so productivity is one of the top things that really valuable to companies. And next is set cost cutting targets for all value chain functions to encourage the culture of teamwork and cooperations. Okay, probably you don't want really cutting so much cost into one specific cost department and cutting no cost at all in the other departments. But what you can do is, think this as a whole picture, and then to talk to them together and to let them see the big goal in this project, and then and discuss all these problems and issues and figure out what cost can really cut down in terms of your specific department, in terms of my specific department, and then we work together to achieve this ultimate goal to offer something that we can charge and we can make profits on. All right. So those are the solutions, the general solutions we can to avoid all these undesirable products. Okay, I mean undesirable side effects. Okay, so this is about target pricing strategies. Okay, so first targeting strategy is really we're gonna have a product, right? We're gonna have a product based off on competitor strategies and customers' preferences, and then go back to see how much cost we can incur, how much cost we can put into this product, what features we can have in this product, and what features we better need to keep it away from this product. All right, and then to do this value analysis or cost analysis to see how much we can contain in this product. All right, and the next one is cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing. Okay, cost plus pricing. This general formula for setting a cost-based sales price is just add a specific a certain percentage markup onto the cost. Okay, so here is basically is the formula, right? Your cost of the product plus your, let's say it's 20% of your cost as your markup, and then gives you this selling price. This gave you the selling price. Okay, and this gives you the selling price. And remember this also, this is not something we are going to charge our customers. Okay, we are going to charge our customers. No, this is not something we are going to charge our customers. It is only a starting point in the price setting process. Okay, it is only the starting point in terms of price present decisions. Okay, and this markup can be flexible, and it's not something that you have to following some procedures or following some guidelines. There's no instructions at all on that. Okay, you can charge like 10% on your cost. You can charge 35%. You can even charge 100% or even more than that. Let's say 200%. Okay, whatever percentage you want to charge based off your cost to set your estimated price, it is okay. Okay, it is okay. It's no problem because it's only an estimated price. It's not the actual price. Okay, and because a markup is added, cost-based pricing is often called cost plus in pricing. Okay, cost plus in pricing, which the cost refers to the markup, the plus refers to the markup component or the potential profit. Okay, the potential profit. Okay, the potential profit. Okay. So when should we use uh excuse me, when should we use cost plus pricing, or when should we use target pricing these strategies? It depends. Okay, it depends. So for example, if you are in a highly competitive market, okay, if you are on a highly competitive market let's say the high tech, the cell phone market now. Okay, well, we have the bigger competitor, Apple, Samsung, Google, and probably some other small companies. Okay, and those are really not that competitive. But if you're on this kind of highly competitive market, you are not able to use cost plus pricing. Okay, you are not able to use this because I don't care how much it costs you to make. This is the price I charge. It better you charge this, otherwise I'm gonna kick you out of this market, right? They're gonna drive you out of this market because nobody's gonna buy your products for so much higher price. Make sense? Okay. But if you're in a market that you are the only one seller on the market, you are the only one who is selling the product on the market, you're probably gonna use this cost plus pricing because there's no competitors at all. Okay, you want to charge whatever you want to charge, and also assuming there's high demand in the market. Okay, also there's high demand in the market, or at least some demands. Otherwise, if there's zero demand on the market for this product, doesn't matter how much you charge, even if it's a penny, nobody's going to buy it, right? So it depends. Okay, if you're in a so less competitive market, probably using cost plus pricing this strategy is a better idea for the company. All right. Okay, so cost plus pricing, choose a markup to earn a target rate of return on investments. And there are so many different rate of return on investment we can look at, and I didn't put in those equations into the slides. Again, I think we have some equations in the chapter in the textbook. If you're running up into some questions that ask you to solve one of those problems for rate of return on investment, look for those formulas in textbook. Okay, look for those the equations in textbook. Okay, it is not our focus because it's so easy to solve that problem. All right. So, and also there are a lot of different types of rate of return on investment because we have different definitions for investments. It depends on the company's strategy or the company's goals, either a long-term goal or short-term goal. And probably by here, long-term, short-term is different definitions. Okay, from general definitions, long-term, short-term in terms of relatively. Okay, it's probably 5 years could be short term in terms of 10 years plan, or 10 years could be a short term in terms of 20 years plan. Okay, so something like that. Okay, and computing the specific amount of capital invested in the product is challenging because it requires difficult and arbitrary allocations of investments in equipment and buildings to individual products. Again, all these things we still need to consider the value chain. Okay, the value chain, the V chain. Okay, the value chain, because all these things cost money. All these things cost money. Not only the manufacturing process where we put in materials, we have laborers, and we purchase equipment. Okay, and offering some place to make those products. Not only about this manufacturing process, but also let's say R&D, right? R&D. We spend so much time, we spend so much resources in the R&D process to invent some new products, to gain a competitiveness on the market, and these costs are so huge amount that we cannot ignore. Okay, we cannot ignore. Then the question here is that how do we allocate those costs into products? Okay, do we just allocate the manufacturing costs to the products, or we need to allocate all these costs, all the business costs into products that we make and we offer to the market? That is the question. That is a serious question that really will affect our cost plus pricing. Okay, if you only allocate the manufacturing cost, then your cost plus pricing probably, let's say 20% markup, they're probably gonna $100. If you allocate R&D cost into your product cost, and your cost probably going to be that high, and even if it's 20%, you're going to charge a lot more for the price. Okay, you're going to charge a lot more for the price instead of this manufacturing cost allocation. All right, make sense? All right, so here we have different Okay, we have different cost base to allocate costs and to set our price. Okay, to set our price. First is variable manufacturing cost. Okay, so here the chart is talking about different type of costs. Okay, different type of costs. You see, this is the total cost you have for the business, and probably have variable costs, probably have fixed costs. You have variable manufacturing costs. You have variable SG&A costs, whatever. Okay, and you have variable and fixed R&D costs, and all these costs is the whole the overall cost of your business. Okay, so we have variable manufacturing costs. Really, we have right here we have just direct materials, direct labor, and variable MOH. Okay, all these things. Do we allocate costs based off on only this variable? Okay, only these variable costs? Do we allocate only these variable manufacturing costs? Okay, or all variable costs. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's manufacturing or non-manufacturing, or it's just in the R&D process, or it's in the customer service process. Do we charge all of these? Okay, do we charge all of these? Okay, give me 1 second. It's just didn't connect. I lost connection uh, to my Surface Go. Okay, so let me see if I can. Let me go back to. All right, now here you see, and I'm not able to read anything on the slides, so bear with me. Okay, so here that do we allocate all costs to the market? I mean to the all variable costs to the products, or do we allocate only manufacturing costs, no matter it's variable or fixed cost, only manufacturing, or do we allocate every single piece of costs to our products? Okay, and honestly speaking, okay, and trust me on this, most of the companies are going to allocate the full costs to their products, to each type of their products. Okay, because really you have to recover all the costs from your sales, otherwise your company still is losing money, right? So it allows to fully recover all the costs of the products, and it allows for price stability, and it's a simple approach. Okay, you don't have to figure out, okay, you don't have to figure out the cost behaviors. Okay, which cost is variable cost, which cost is fixed cost? Well, definitionally, we know that it's easy to distinguish between variable costs and fixed costs, and selling costs, and manufacturing costs, and some these type of costs. But in practice, okay, what cost really is variable, what cost is really fixed cost, it is really hard to say, because they are affected by so many different drivers, and we just picking up a driver is so arbitrary, right? So it is not that easy to distinguish between variable cost, or in terms of cost behaviors in practice. And second, it's going to offer a stable price. Remember, we want to have a smooth business operations, and also we want to have a stable price to not surprise customers, right? We want everything that is predictable in our business, right? So that we are able to come up with plans uh, to get rid of or overcome some difficulties. All right. So if we are allocated full cost into the products, including R&D, including marketing, product design, including marketing, manufacturing, supply chains, so on and so forth. Okay, we are taking the lump sum price, and then we estimate what is the product life, and how many units we're gonna produce over its life, and how many we're gonna earn, how many units we're gonna sell, and then do the math evenly, and we're going to charge a more reasonable and more stable price. Okay, and again, this is a very simple approach. So a full cost allocation, everything in this chart, pie chart. Okay, everything is going to be um, allocated to the product. Okay. All right. So what is the difference between target pricing and cost plus pricing, right? So basically, target pricing is looking at, from the customer and competitor perspective. And cost plus is really you are from your business perspective, that and if you're in a less competitive market and you are able to do that. Okay. And then target pricing, again, let's reduce the need to go back and forth among perspective, cost plus price. Okay, customer reactions and design modifications. Why is that? Because really, when you have a target price, okay, you have a target price and go back, this is the price you probably will charge, and the cost will cannot be go above that target price. Okay, the target cost cannot be going above to that above that target price. Then everything you've done, everything you put inside of your products, the cost at the end of the day cannot be going back to going above that target price. So then give us a bar to keep our cost, right? To keep our cost down. To keep our cost down. And with that being said, then we are able to figure out which features we can offer in the products to our customers, which features we need to get rid of from our products. And it's solely based on most of these things are based on customers' preferences, their priorities, and then competitor strategies, and what features that is really customers' needs, and also we are able to provide to distinguish our products away from our customer competitors' product, right? And pricing, target pricing first determines product characteristics and target price on the basis of customer preference and expected competitor responses, and then computes a target cost, right? So this is the summary of what I just said. Okay, so I don't know why I'm becoming so talkative today. And then cost plus pricing is really something that you have to figure out a cost. For example, house construction, right? House construction or large construction projects, like you're building a bridge. Okay, you're building a bridge, or building an airplane, or building a ship. Okay, or you're building an aircraft carrier. Okay, all these things really you don't have too much competitions on that specific market, right? So all these things pretty much is based off on the price is based off on the class on your costs, right? So and here, and with that being said, the cost the cost allocation that we have to think of, allocate the full cost. Okay, allocate the full cost. Then allocating the full cost, we are thinking of these cost allocation strategies in terms of product life cycle budgeting and costing. Okay, so from the R&D, from the initial of R&D process all the way to the customer services, the end. Okay, this is the life cycle of the product. Okay, of the product. Okay, and all these things is inside of the product life cycle, because R&D is the initial process to design this product, right? And some products, for example, all these laptops, those electronic devices we purchased, they have a warranty on that, right? Even if the sales process is done, but they still have some companies still have responsibilities within the warranty period, that if something goes wrong, that is not the customer's mistakes or problems, then they have to offer some solutions to fix it, and it also bears cost, right? So and then we have this set of budgeting and costing process. All right, and let's talk about budgeting and pricing decisions. Okay, the development period for R&D and design is long and costly, and I don't have to make more illustrations on this, right? And many costs are locked in at R&D and design stage, even if R&D and design costs are themselves small, right? So, well, in terms of depends on what you're looking at, right? So besides all these things, other things we're looking at, the cost is environmental and the sustainability costs. And as we discussed in the prior, another prior chapters, in the balance scorecard chapters, quality and timing, that chapter 19. Okay, customers now is more people now is more caring about those environmental issues, right? So studies, statistically speaking, that companies focusing on corporate social responsibilities and putting more efforts to reduce, environmental damage, then customers become more loyal to those companies, and they will potentially make more profits coming in from that side. Okay, and another thing is customer life cycle costing. Okay, customer life cycle costing. Customer life cycle costing focuses on the total cost incurred by a customer to acquire, use, maintain, and dispose of a product or services. And these costs influence the price a company can charge for its products. And uh, uh, okay, so I gave you a wrong example before. The product life cycle costing is really from the day that the products is, in their hatch stage, R&D stage, all the way to the end that the product's no longer offered. Okay, take that lump sum cost information and to get a price. Okay, and customer life cycle costing is really we're looking at from customers perspective. Okay, how much customers going to buy from us, and we have this how long the relation we're going to have with this customer. Okay, so for example, Canon not only sell their cameras but also printers, those things, right? So for example, the printers, right? If I buy a printer from Canon, okay, Canon can really easily to charge like $500 on a very simple printers, okay, and doesn't have too many features on that, right? And any kind of printer companies can do that, right? However, not only about their competitor, but also they need to think about their customers, right? What I'm talking about here is that are we going to maintain this customer relationship within our business? Okay, within our business. If they're buying our products, if they're buying our printers, are they going to, keep using our products in terms of buying more cartridge? Okay, and to use the printers, if we're charging so much high price in the cartridge, and probably they're going to switch to some low cost cartridge, right? Or if its price is so high for printers, people are going to switch to other printers, right? So also this cost can influence the price that company charge for this product, okay? So you want to know how long you can keep your customers in the business. Right, so there are non-cost factors in pricing decisions. Besides all these things that's really fundamental in terms of pricing decisions, there are something that we can tweak a little bit, on top of that. First is price discrimination, and that is the practice of changing different customers charging different customers different price for the same product or services, okay, for all services. And this is doable, okay, this is doable because really this you have different markets, you have a geographically different markets. And for example, gasoline, right? Gasoline here in New York, in the state of New York, Saratoga Springs probably charge like $2.50 or 60 cents per gallon, but down in Atlanta, Georgia, they probably just charge like $2 per gallon and of the gasoline of the same company, right? Why is charged so differently? One is probably they charged the tax are different, and the other one is the price are different, okay? Because the buying powers are different from the two different geographical locations, okay? And the second is a peak load pricing. Okay, peak load pricing is the practice of charging a higher price for the same product or services when demand approaches the physical limit of the capacity to produce that product or services. For example, you look at your hotel you're gonna stay. You look at the hotels. You're looking for hotels you're gonna stay during your Miami vacations. Okay, the summer vacations. All right. And some because this is really a popular place to go vacation on to go on vacations. And during the busy season there are a lot of demand, right? There are a lot of demand, and you always see that the hotel price is going so much higher, okay, so much higher than the low seasons, like academic years, okay, from September to December, or January to May, right? Those low seasons, it's not this doesn't have too much demand, and the price is so much lower than the peak load price, right? And another thing about let me make up something that another thing about the price discrimination is that it is legal, okay? Price discrimination, it is legal because as long as you can justify your costs, and that is doable, okay? That is doable. And one thing that is not legal in terms of price discrimination is if you're charging your price so much low than your cost, okay? So much lower than your cost, and probably you're gonna just drive your competitors away from the market, and that is illegal, okay? And then international price difference, and also in terms of currency exchange rate, and in terms of consumer buying power, in terms of cultural differences, all these things probably going to charge different price for similar same products and offer different countries, okay? For example, Starbucks, a cup of grande latte here is charged like for a $3 something, and in China it's probably like $30, okay? And it's, I mean, not $30, 30 Chinese currency, okay? But it's different price, okay? Probably different price, okay? And next is the very last thing we're going to talk about is the regulations, the laws on price setting. Okay, price setting. Okay, so price discrimination is permissible if differences in price can be justified by differences in cost. However, it is illegal only if the intent is to lessen or prevent competitions. Like if you're let's say if you're offering a charge price that's way lower than your cost, it can be called one of these two things. It is called predatory pricing in terms of within the same market, okay, within the same country, okay, within the same country, okay, you are offering you're charging a price lower than your cost to kick out your competitors on the market, okay. And the second is dumping. Dumping also is price discriminations, okay? And it's similar to a predatory pricing. The difference is that predatory pricing, we are only looking at the companies that instead of the same country. Here specifically in the United States, okay? We're not talking about some countries like China or European countries. I don't know anything about those countries, okay? In terms of this antitrust laws. But in terms of United States, America, predatory pricing are talking about America companies. And dumping is also charging a price way lower than your cost, but it is the price charged by international companies, okay? International companies that they're charging a price instead of America, the lower than their costs, okay? They're charging a price lower than their costs instead of America, and try to gain the market here in the states of New York, in the state of America. Okay, and inclusive pricing, it is not really charging something lower than their price, lower than their cost, but this is something that you are collusion with your other companies inside of this business, that inside of this industry, and trying to limit the supplies and trying to charge a higher price than it's supposed to be, okay. So these things also is not legal, okay. So things terms that you can use applies to this is monopoly or bel- monopoly, or what is the only two companies in the market, um, monopoly or something like that, okay. So those are the things that for the legal perspective in terms of setting a price. All right. So now this is chapter 13, and I hope you can enjoy your rest of your week, and don't forget to do the homework. And the homework is due. Next week, Wednesday. All right. So again, I apologize. I messed up. I confused this 2 weeks schedule, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Send me an email or post your questions on the discussion board. Okay. All right. You guys have good time. All right. See you next time.